The coffee industry, where we are doing extremely well and we don't need any government intervention, it's where he's showing interest. What a greedy man. No, we cannot accept. I uprooted tea, my 20 acres, I've planted coffee. Now, the same man who has made me to lose money in tea, he's following me up.
In the coffee.
In coffee. We need to tell Ugandans facts. Let me tell you what you didn't know. In this government of ours, if you came up with a theory and you told my government that, you see, there is a lot of gold in cow dung, the following day, the whole family, the one you know, it will come up, it will put an embargo that nobody should even sell cow dung, even if it is your cow. They will even compel you to look for baskets to make sure that you can tap cow dung because they think it is very lucrative. That's how greedy Mr. Museveni and his team has gone. He killed our cooperatives. Banyankole Kwetera na cooperative. If you think in Western Uganda we don't have coffee, we had Banyankole Kwetera na cooperative. When they came to power, they told Ugandans cooperatives are useless. They killed Honorable Gisu. That was wise. Survived. Now they are saying they want to revamp cooperatives. After killing, selling, eating, and our people are so poor. We are not going to sing the song, Mr. President, we are happy, all the same, we are happy, we are so poor, but all the same, we are happy. No, we're not going to sing that song for you. We cannot be unhappy and sing for you the song that we are happy to appease you. Enough is enough. What you've plundered in this country, I think it is enough to cater for you. Leave our coffee. We don't need your intervention. Please, accept the little that you are having. Lastly, I want to caution all the MPs. The time we were crying for tea crisis, only a few MPs from tea growing area spoke and supported the cause. Now I'll tell you, there was this man who was called Martin Moeller in Germany, when there was, you remember the Nazism regime, he said that when they came for communists, I kept silent because I was not a communist. When they came for trade unionists, I couldn't speak because I was not a trade unionist. But when they came for me, nobody spoke because I was only left alone. You remember Hitler had killed every person, but whenever he was killing, this Pastor Martin could keep quiet. But when they came for him to be killed, nobody spoke for him, and he also died. The same applies to us as MPs. If the matter is touching Karamoja, that they are plundering gold of Karamoja, and a member brings the point, even if you are not from Karamoja, let us fight for Ugandans. So now you can see, tea first, few people came to support us. Now they are coming for coffee. Many people are coming on board, but for us we are staying, still we are there. And some people are silent because they know they've not planted coffee. The only industry that won't be touched, I assure you Ugandans, it is the animal industry. It won't be touched because the president, the fountain of honor, that is his interest. Have you ever known the reasons why people selling milk, they don't pay taxes? Here in the village, do you know that a person getting matoke from my village, from your plantation, before you pass any trading center, you pay tax? Have you ever seen someone putting a can or a jerrycan of milk, paying that tax? Have you ever known, your journalists go and probe, that every car that ferries milk, the coolers, they have the red and white number plates, they are exempted from tax. What about for us who buy fusos to carry our coffee and matoke? Do we get tax exemptions? Open up your eyes. The country has rotten. And Mr. President, accept us and we take up the mantle as NRM member.
We shall be absolved. And this will happen because we don't think that these institutions, almost all of them invariably, should be, should be rationalized in the way we are doing it. We think we will do better, given that. And the issue of this other argument which disturbs my mind is the issue of cutting costs. But in every aspect of management, including the economic aspects, there are trade-offs. There are what we call trade-offs. You trade off one thing to achieve another. And because these institutions have been operating well, they have been effective, they have been rendering the services required of them, we had to meet a higher cost to maintain them. You see, you had to meet a higher cost, for example, to pay UNRWA officials, to pay your CDA, and all these other, staff who are in these organizations. You meet that cost, at a cost of, at a cost of ensuring that they perform the services. You get these services, but you pay the cost. It is not like it is different from centralizing them, and then you have poor services. You decentralize, you put the services of the road function back to your Ministry of Works, and the officials there are busy sleeping, and you have no value for money. And it is you to lose. You do the same for the UCDA. The quality of coffee, whatever has been coming out of it, degenerates, and it is you to lose. So there is a trade-off on each and every, function. You need to forego something in order to achieve something better. You see. So, members of the press, this is our battle. This is the battle of everybody, including yourselves. We think it is high time that we all address this matter collectively, in one spirit, so that we can save our coffee, we can save UCDA. And the people of Bunyoro, nobody should deceive you about this. The people of Bunyoro, on whose behalf I speak, as a member of parliament from Bunyoro region, are very, very anxious about this proposal, about this bill to revert UCDA to the Ministry of Agriculture. They don't support it. They may not come here physically, but we are telling you on their behalf. They don't. This is a very big, major coffee growing area. We have a lot of coffee there, including myself. I'm a coffee farmer. See? And we think that we, by removing UCDA from where it is to Ministry of Agriculture, we are like somebody who buries his head in the sand and he leaves the whole of his torso outside, and he says he's now safe. He has protected himself. That's not possible, and that's not true. So let me stop here and allow my sister at the other end also to make some comments. We thank you. I thank you very much, President. I'd like to amplify further on the points raised by my colleague, Honorable Mujuki, on the issue raised by a lady there, which was to do with the fear. Is it especially among those MPs who are for rationalization? You remember that point? Fear that maybe they will lose their seats, something like that. That's a very pertinent issue, but I would like to say that for me, I would rather that people start thinking using their heads other than thinking using their stomachs. It is very, very important because, let me give you an example. I was not in the parliament. It was in the 10th parliament. Honorable Mujuki was there and Honorable Mbwa. And we had a major event in the 10th parliament, which was the Tojikwatako. There are very many MPs from the movement party who, against the wishes of their voters, decided to do what? To Tojikwatako. And I'm telling you, you are members of the media, you are members of the press, you know what the casualty rate was. among this group.
Including Nankabirwa,
You see?
who used to tell them they were going to help us if we touch.
The rate of the casualty rate was so high. So we have a saying in Bunyoro that if those who have ears, let them hear. Those who don't have, it is up to them. But it is wiser to do the right thing, other than to do the wrong thing simply because you are fearing for the outcome. That's what I would like to comment on that.
Moruganda.
You should also know that this report and most of these members are members from the other side of the ruling party. Majority members of on the Committee of Agriculture just saw the fear that they cannot come out and stand against their party position, because it was very clear in the committee that they have to abide by the party position, by the cabinet position, and that is to take UCDA the way it is. Members of the public should also know that most of the stakeholders who appeared before the committee and representing the 12.5 million Ugandans all said no to taking back UCDA into the mother ministry. And among the stakeholders who appeared before the committee was the Buganda Parliamentary Caucus. We had stakeholders from Buganda Kingdom. We had stakeholders from Bunyoro. Those were the Coffee Growers Association, Bunyoro. We had the farmers from Kanungu, Masaka Coffee Growers, West Nile, Northern Uganda. We had the Bugisu Cooperative Union, but also Bugisu Parliamentary Caucus. We also had a number of stakeholders, individual. All these ones, they were a representative of the 12.5 million Ugandans. They overwhelmingly said no. So what I expected from the main report of the committee was to respect the views of the stakeholders who appeared before the committee to represent the 12.5 million Ugandans. So we, being a people-centered parliament, Uganda parliament, we did not report exactly what the views of these 12.5 million people, farmers, coffee farmers, spoke. And this is against the will of Ugandans. Being a people-centered parliament, but also reporting otherwise. So the report that the committee came up with was just a table report. It was not a reflection of the views that the majority, 12.5 million Ugandans, did speak. I also want to call upon the public to join your members of parliament in demanding the rejection of the UCDA rejection. Someone asked that you people, why Bunyoro you don't plant coffee? Bunyoro you don't plant coffee. For us, we have been, initially we used to plant cotton. When the government started underfunding it, people gave up with cotton. We went to tobacco farming. Our farmers have been cheated every other day. We were fishermen. On the lake now, we can no longer fish. We can no longer fish. The military has taken over all the lakes. But all this under the Ministry of Agriculture's supervision. The Ministry of Agriculture should know that they have failed to perform their work efficiently and effectively. As we speak today, just early this year, we saw the Ministry of Agriculture giving out tractors without plows, others without the engines, and others without handlers. These working tractors that they gave out never had handlers. We have seen the Ministry of Agriculture fail to manage the fisheries sector. They have given it out to the army. They have given it up to the UPDF to take over the lakes. We as Parliament, we did make a resolution here for the Ministry to go and come up with the Aquaculture and Fisheries Act regulation. Up to now, they have failed to come up with the regulation. We did recommend they come up with the tea policy. The Ministry of Agriculture, up to now, we have very many petitions in Parliament of farmers, of tea, tobacco. Western alone has over 5,000 farmers who are cheated by Nima Tobacco, by Continental Company, and all this is under the ministry, being under the Ministry of Agriculture. Today, our maize, our rice, cannot cross the borders of Kenya, cannot cross the borders of Tanzania. Our chicken, it cannot cross all those borders of our neighboring countries where we are talking about common market, we are in the East African integration. And under the supervision of Ministry of Agriculture, they are very silent. Just last year, we saw our maize, the Kaunga, being poured when it was crossing over the borders of South Sudan. They were saying it is full of aflatoxins. And the Minister of Agriculture is all seated, very comfortable, seeing farmers suffering, seeing traders suffering. They cannot stand out and speak for themselves. Today, the rice of Tanzania in Hoima, it can reach up to the stores of a local businessman, door to door selling. Even the rice of Tanzania is cheaper than ours here. So our farmers have decided to lower the prices of theirs so that the one of Tanzania doesn't outcompete them. Being that ineffective, then again you call a ministry, an agency like this, Uganda Coffee Development Authority, to also come, you kill it. Is the Uganda Coffee Development Authority Bill 2024 is to kill, to remove, to abolish, to scrap off UCDA. And of course, when you kill someone, you cannot say that you are transferring the roles of the dead body to the what? To the mother ministry. You cannot transfer the roles of the dead body to the mother ministry. For instance, if I'm a member of parliament today and I died, my child who inherits me cannot do my work. So that's why we are heading. We are seeing UCDA going to be killed, and totally they bury it just because for them they are just looking at saving costs. They are looking about ineffectiveness, but yet themselves they have failed. Finally, Ugandans, wherever you are, we request you to join your hands, your voices, so that we speak the same voice against the taking up of this UCDA into the main ministry.
Thank you very much. I want to just add one thing and
Is this the 11th Parliament going to end today? Is Parliament going to end with the 11th Parliament? Is government going to die today because we have not passed the coffee bill? Those are questions our members of Parliament and the public should be asking the leaders that they did vote to represent them in Parliament of Uganda.
Honorable Chair, the question she's posing, let me just tell you, ma'am.
We rejected this very bill. President Museveni invited some members to State House and asked them to bring it back. I want you to ask some of these members, what has changed? You rejected this bill a few months ago. What has changed for you to now come and say the bill should pass? What has changed? For Museveni to say that those who are for Ugandans are being given money, I saw him alluding to that. I want you to ask our colleagues what has changed. They are going to Chisozi on Friday to completely deal with coffee, UCDA. Ugandans are watching. I want to advise our colleagues who are going to Chisozi. Rather than go to Chisozi to kill coffee, go and tell President Museveni from his home in Chisozi that Ugandans are against this move. Ugandans are not happy. And you see, we speak for the farmers. And I had talked about it. I want you to ask those who are supporting, who are they speaking for? Because we cannot legislate for Museveni. That's because Museveni doesn't want it. Can you imagine? It's the only reason. That Museveni doesn't want it. So what? Is he a coffee farmer? Because for me, I speak for farmers. Who is Museveni speaking for? I was educated using coffee. What did he use? So we speak with a lot of pain. And as members of parliament, when poverty increases, it affects us as members. We have taken the role of paying fees.
Which we are already doing.
So my colleagues can go to Shankwanzi, but when you meet them, please tell them, Chisozi, when you meet them, tell them that Chisozi is a slaughterhouse for coffee. And it will go into the history of this country. So we want to know who are for coffee and who are against coffee. We want to know who are the murderers of this national crop. And that's why we have come as members from Western Uganda to speak for the farmers, to speak for coffee, to speak for UCDA. Thank you very much.
Maybe another question should be, why are we overrushing?
Who is scared of taking a decision does not qualify to be an MP. Any member of parliament who is scared of taking a decision because he fears anybody, whether it is the president or chairman of a party, does not qualify to be an MP. Because the Ugandans sit and choose you to come and speak for and on their behalf. And so you cannot say, I am scared of speaking. If you're scared of speaking, don't be an MP. 2, you asked about not having signed. It is true on that day I was not in the country. But if you want to know my position, I have given it to you. I was on Zoom, but those who are on Zoom are not allowed to vote. It's only the people who are present. So, if I was there then, this is what my position was going to be. Fortunately, this decision is not yet made. We only moved from one stage, and a decision was taken to move to another stage. But there is confusion in the public for people to think that the decision is already taken. It's not yet taken.
It's not yet taken.
So we are going to vote
Third stage.
at the third stage, and at that time we shall know who is for and against. That voting was not for and against, it was for moving to another stage. That is what happened. And I'm sure you as journalists know the process of the beer making process, how many stages you go through. So it is that final stage that we are mobilizing farmers to talk to their members of parliament so that we don't kill coffee. That last stage. The game plan. We have told you we are going for mobilization. Museveni is going to Chisozi.
We are going to the people.
For us, we are going to the people. We are going to all regions. For us, we are going to deal with our Western Uganda. The other members can also go to their regions. So, by the time they come back from Chisozi, we shall be giving them how many farmers are against their decision, and they will be telling us how many cows they have eaten from Chisozi. Because for us, really, our position is very clear. So, Chimathi New Vision, my position is very clear. As a God-fearing person, as a Christian, as a Catholic, above all, I cannot betray my people. I cannot. My father used to work with Manyankwere Kweterana. Even when he had no money, he only needed a receipt from Manyankwere Kweterana to take to school, and they would allow me to study. And then he would pay later through the cooperatives. So my father would be very annoyed with me in his grave if he heard that I had taken a decision of working against coffee. And so I cannot. I am for coffee, I am for UCDA, I am for development.